So again, thank you for joining me in today's session, our next webinar in English, COPA RF 2013 Role Management. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to use the chat window and I'll endeavour to answer them. There will be an opportunity at the end also. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Carl Stevenson. I head up Datrem's UK operation and I look after our sales, support and service for the UK and North America. I've been a COPA RF user now since 1994, and in more recent times since joining Datrem I've also been a user of COPA FEA RF. I'm an open section design specialist by trade, and previously I've worked at two of the largest UK's roll forming companies. More information about myself and my colleagues can be found on the Datrem website. So, today's topics. First of all, we're going to be looking at the stock of roles available in the database, how to put existing designs and tools onto that system, how to find and use existing role tools, keep track of design modifications, the bill of materials, ordering and stock taking, inventory management, the benefits from using such a system as COPA RLM database, and some future prospects with the system, some things we're going to be looking at and developing in the future. So, when we consider the stock of roles in the database, we have to consider this is a centrally stored set of electronic information known as the COPA Role Management System. And this has a direct link to our COPA RF design suite. And we're able to search and use suitable roles from within the database across multiple projects. Then, in doing so, from within the COPA RF design interface, we can then create a detailed bill of materials of new and existing roles, albeit combi or stock roles. So we can then order new roles if needs be, or we can use existing ones. And this interaction also occurs directly between our role stock and the database, because the database represents the stock of roles in the system. So everything is kind of integrated and there's a flow of information to and from the database, both for the RF design user and the guy looking after the tooling inventory. So when we consider storing existing tools in the system, the idea is we want to utilize the COPA role management system as much as possible. So the existing roles have to be transferred to the system, and in doing so there are different scenarios to consider, and this can be the import of existing AutoCAD drawings, in other words prior to COPA, or whereby we no longer have a COPA project available. And we can also import from existing COPA projects. So if we have a series of projects we would like to then add these roles to the database, we can do. And of course we can obtain the information directly from the role itself. We're going to be looking at those three scenarios now. So first of all, taking an AutoCAD drawing. AutoCAD import provides an easy to transfer tool to capture the AutoCAD role geometry and store it within the role database. And we take the information of single roles from our drawings. Essentially we identify this contour, which needs to be a polyline, and the role number itself by mouse clicks in the drawing. And during this import, we're able to assign role properties, the attributes of the role, to give it some identity. For example, the bore, diameter, stamp ring, tolerances, and so on and so forth. Once we've stored these information into the database, we can use automatic search, as this provides a tool to easily transfer these tools from our COPRA RLM database into the existing COPRA project. And we can transfer entire COPRA projects directly at the click of a button. And we can use automated functions to identify these tools with cross-project usage or multiple usage within inside this project. Say, for example, if we use a standard role spacer, this would be a good opportunity. And we can also transfer existing COPRA projects, so we let the system find and replace designed roles with stock roles automatically in the same manner. So the automatic search provides easy transfer of tools from existing COPRA projects. So, for example, we have a COPRA design, and then we can have a link, an interaction with a role management system where we search for a role. And if a role is found in the system, a link is created, and this will then obviously be across all projects. So we can then see which roles can be used in which project. And alternatively, another link in the opposite direction, so we feed into the RF design, we can also feed out of the design. So roles not found in the RLM database, for example, we can transfer, and then new items will be created in there. So storing existing tools in the system, again, the automatic search provides the easy transfer of tools from existing COPRA projects. So here you can see, in this example, we've transferred the entire project from here into here, and this is whereby we have green roles. Then when we do an automatic role search in a similar project, you can see here the green roles, for example, have been used from this project. And ultimately, this would be the new roles that have been designed. So in other words, the flanges were usable, but the spacers were not. And you can see here a new spacer was added on the underside too. And then ultimately, we were then able to transfer these spacers from here into the database as new items. So then in the future, should we need any additional roles, these may be suitable. So then let us consider how to gather the role data itself from the role. Well, for those of you who are lucky enough to have a COPRA role scanner, we have an interface which provides easy transfer of tools without any documents directly to the COPRA role management system. So the role geometry and contour can be extracted directly from the role scanner and stored there. And ultimately these can then be fed back into new designs during the design stage when we conduct a search. Alternatively, we can measure the roles from stock and transfer the measured contours to COPRA as well, in exactly the same way, I guess, by creating an AutoCAD polyline. Of course, for complex geometries and quite often complex shapes, this can be tricky, and this is in itself where the COPRA role scanner stands out as a great tool to do that. So there you have the three methods now of being able to store existing legacy data into the role database. So from AutoCAD drawings, directly from COPRA, and from the role itself. So how can we find and use existing roles? So we can find roles of standard geometries, and we can search for roles by simply defining a set of parameters, and we have a clear and easy to use search user interface for defining these parameters. And we can specify things such as the width, radii, angles, and a type of role, whether it's a cylinder or a cone roll or a cylinder cone, as you see here. And by making a selection and deselection of the relevant and irrelevant parameters, we can search on that. So we can find roles by relevant contour sections. So you can see here in our search, we've based our parameters on the connecting diameter. And here we've specified that as 85 and an angle here of 45 degrees. And of course we have the possibility to add some wildcards to that as well. And the result would be a role such as this. So this would be the connecting diameter and of course the angle itself here. So once we've found those roles, how do we use them from our results? So essentially we can insert the roles into our project and replace the roles we have designed in there. So in doing so, we can also specify whether a bottom role could essentially be used in a top role location by specifying the axes here whereby it should be used. And as you can see, we can also replace the role as well as insert the role into the project. And this could be the replacement of the formerly selected COPA role by the selected role from the catalogue. And of course we can generate a combi role set catalogue. And this shows all of the roles associated with one particular combi set. And this could be a set of spacers, for example, maybe for a stud or for a track or something similar such as a cable tray. And the combi role set catalogue provides quick selection of standard roles for use in the COPA role design. So we can select multiple widths and generate different profiles and geometry depths and heights in doing so. And ultimately we can copy and paste roles from other projects using the simple copy and paste functions, and we can paste roles as a reference to a mother role in doing so. And we can create projects for grouping frequently used standard roles. And another function we have now is the project comparator, and this allows us to keep track of design modifications. Essentially we can compare COPA archive files. We can compare the current design modifications to the original design. As we can see here in the example, this particular archive here has no side roles, whereas this one on the right hand side does. I mean, this is a simple example for the comparator. I mean, this could be a change in angles, this could be a change in flange roles in that particular case. So the possibilities are ultimately endless, but it allows you to easily compare the differences between two projects, both graphically and visually. Once we've then generated these lists, a bill of material for ordering and of stock roles, we can group them by any column, e.g. for the station, or we can sort by any column, even more than one column at the same time. And this can be activated or deactivated for, we can activate and deactivate relevant and irrelevant columns from this also. So for example, if we're just looking at a roll number, a station type or an axis, we can remove all other information. In doing so, we then create a bill of materials, and we can customize the printing of this. We have a template. You can see here we have one with the Datem logo. It's quite easy to create a new one with your company's logo there, and we can make a selection of the columns we would like to print, and we can export this, say for example, to an Excel sheet or a PDF document, and then we can clearly see here we can print preview that also. Again, with regard to the bill of materials, we can generate a list of roles to order for the current project. So this is the ones whereby we can't use stock information. And you can calculate the number of items to order with regards to the count of roles on stock. So for example, if we have so many in use and a particular job elsewhere in the organisation, the factory, we can then calculate if we need additional or new roles to meet stock requirements. And we can also check the status of manufacturing documents here, i.e. the dimension drawings and NC code. In our example, you can see here the DWGs are available, but the DXF in this row aren't. And then in doing so, we can create a copy of the production documents. So all the distinct roles that need to be ordered from roles which are already on stock can be generated, and we can also create a zip file including all of the relevant manufacturing documents, such as the drawings and the DXF files and role contours. What we're also able to do is identify roles which have been or can be recycled for reuse. And in doing so, we can generate a recycling bill of materials. So if you have a set of roles or a sequence of roles from various projects which we're no longer able to use, we can find these as a rejected role source, and we can use them to produce new roles. And essentially, in this case, we don't need to order new material for that. And here, the criteria could be based upon a width addition or a diameter addition to the geometry. And this will ultimately save cost and time by saving work on items such as boring and grooving. We would only need to hard turn our rolls, or unless we anneal our rolls, to then allow us to machine them to assume the new roll contour. In doing so now, we'll have a complete suite of roles in our database. We have to consider inventory management, and this is a tool which is designed to help the guys who take our rolls from the storage location to the roll former for production, for setup. And here we have a standalone client software for accessing the roll management system. And this should be done from the warehouse, from the shop floor, using a tablet or notebook PC. And ultimately, this tool allows us to manage the stock of rolls. And we can also search for rolls. And we can also find similar rolls, which is a nice tool for anyone who's ever had experience of losing rolls or finding a roll which wasn't replaced following a production run at the next production run. So we can easily search the database to find a roll and its location which could be suitable to get us through this particular production run. The inventory management tool also allows us to check in rolls on delivery control, and we can also charge off rolls for scrapping and mark rolls as recyclable. So for example, if a tool is damaged beyond repair, it can be scrapped, which could then generate an order to create a replacement roll. We can mark worn rolls as recyclable. We can place follow-up orders directly from within this tool. And we have support for 2D code scanners, could it be a barcode or data matrix, etc., to quickly identify these rolls if they have such identification marks. And here you can see in the example, this roll here is available. This one has been deleted from the system. It's no longer on the system or available. And this roll now, 10L1, is recyclable. So it can be used for other projects. So what's the ultimate benefit for a roll forming company? Well, we have to consider the saving of cost, time and storage space by flexible reuse of existing rolls. If you imagine there's no need to produce the roll, so ultimately our new roll tool sets can find our way into testing and verification much more quickly. And especially if we're just making a small percentage of new roles to make this combi set. And in doing so, we're also combating the problem of storage space. I've been to a multitude of role-forming companies whereby everyone is always struggling for space to store their roles. And we're saving the cost by reusing roles from finished projects as well. The collection of data relevant for production planning, quality management and stock taking too. And the extensibility for company-specific issues. I mean, this is over and above what we see here, something that's relevant just to your organisation too, an additional benefit. So some future prospects here. Well, we consider production planning. We can find collisions within our planning. In other words, are these roles in use on a particular day? In other words, we can't use them on this machine on this particular day because they're in use in another area of the organisation, maybe even a different site or facility. And of course, this can always be the situation when using multiple roles in multiple projects. This will allow us to possibly produce several projects at the same time using the roles we currently have on stock. Furthermore, we're looking at stock taking functions, e.g. what was the cost of a particular stock role that broke when producing XYZ profile in November and who was the supplier of that. And this again allows us to keep control of our costs. So right now I'm just going to give you a short demonstration on how easy it is to store existing roles in the database and then how easy it is to search for those roles once they are in the database. So please bear with me 1 second while I just transfer my screen. Okay, so now you can see we're working fully within the AutoCAD Copra interface. And you can see I have a small role database here within my CAD Finder. And right now I'm just going to open an existing DWG file. And here you can see we're using an example. This may be from a source outside of AutoCAD. So once we've done this, you can see now I have two roles I would like to import and their respective geometries. So now I go to the role import tool. So we import the role into the RLM database. And we're now presented with the dialog box to do that. So first thing we do is we would select our attributes for the role. And you can see here for webinar 21 I'm using the top and bottom Copra role attribute. And you can see now the bore diameter, the tolerance and the chamfer for this particular attribute and also the roles material. So what we're telling the system is what we're importing will have these characteristics. So now in the next tool we can select several role contours. So I click the icon and you can see the command line gives me a tick box now to select objects. So I can now first of all select this role and this role with the left mouse. And now right mouse click. I can now select the role text. So this would be cylindrical roll bottom 01 and then cylindrical roll top 01. And you can see the two roles here. And then by right clicking I can save all roles to the database. So now if I return to a blank project, I'm just going to go to role import and open an archive. Sorry, that's the wrong one. So here now in this particular station you can see this would be our Turk's Head station, and the roles there and how they're numbered. So now if we just browse through, we can see that some roles have similarities. So now with the search tool here you can see the binoculars. We can do a project-wide role search, and the project-wide role search will automatically prepare the project. We have a nice easy to use dialog, and you can see the automatic role search here allows us to search on roll number, contours, and we can consider the bore diameter. And this is of course important to us because we need to make sure that the roles we're going to find will fit the machine. So I'm going to search on contour now, and here just hit the binoculars to search. And now I can expand all to see which roles are available, or collapse all. And you can see now each of the roles here for Turk's Head Station, there are 4 roles which are suitable. So in each one I have the same kind of situation, and the first tick box is selected. So I'm going to go with that. You can see I have some 41 wide rolls, then some 100 wide rolls with a suitable diameter here. So now if I click execute, you can see 6 rolls were successfully applied to my project. I can then close this. Now when I hit Copa Redraw, you'll see the role name changed here for this role at the top and also at the bottom, because it's using the cylindrical roles I just added to the database of standard roles. And if we browse through, you'll be able to see their usage now in 12B1, 11, 10, 9, and then 8 wasn't suitable. So there we've been able to successfully add roles to the database along with their specific names without having to type anything into the system, and then I was able to automatically search the database and then apply them to my project. So it's a great tool for when, if you imagine the potential and the possibilities when using combi roll or spacer sets or inco sets. We were just using cylinder rolls here. We can of course use cone or flange rolls in the same manner. So I'll just switch back to the presentation now. So at this stage I would ask, if you have any questions, you can fire them to me on the chat window via the GoToWebinar dialog, and I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, so it seems like you're being kind to me today. I don't have any questions to answer. So it's worthwhile mentioning the DataM Social. For more information you can follow us on Twitter at DataMSMS, where you can find out about all relevant information. I have a hand raised for 1 second. Okay, so it doesn't seem like there was a question. So yes, you can find all of the latest DataM news via our Twitter feed at DataM and all of our videos can be found on our YouTube channel, DataM 2012. And the DataM company and the employees are also available on LinkedIn to find out more about us. So, thank you for joining me today for our COPA RF 2013 Role Management webinar. I hope you found this of interest. I wish you the very best and have a good day. Thank you. Goodbye. Oh, we have one question. Okay, so someone here has some very old stock rolls since 1904. So I'm guessing you don't have any legacy data for them. This could be from the times of roll templates maybe. Yes, this is quite common. I know this situation in lots of roll forming companies. And in those examples, as I stated, the options for you right now are to either scan the rolls into the system, whereby you could use a COPA roll scanner, and then this geometry then could be added directly. If you don't have a scanner, the only other alternative is to draw them manually, maybe by using some traditional tools such as verniers, micrometers, combination sets, or even a CMM machine. However, if you do have a roll scanner, you can literally scan that contour right into the RLM database. And the database, of course, is centralized, which means then for future, any role engineers will be able to search and look for those, or those will be available for them to search and see. But of course, it has to be a COPA roll scanner. So I guess, does that answer your question? Okay, so it seems I hopefully have answered the question. So again, thank you for your attention, everyone. If you should have any questions at an additional that I didn't answer, please don't hesitate to send us an email. And you can do this via the DataM website and via our contact page. And again, we'll endeavour to answer those questions. Can we rent a scanner? At the moment, I'm not aware of any possibilities to rent a roll scanner. I guess this would be based on your location, and if there is a roll scanner available in your country, maybe one of our existing customers could also provide this service for you. Unfortunately, Rollcraft, although do use our software, they don't have a roll scanner available right now. I guess this would be something to discuss with the team there. Okay. Sorry if I couldn't give you a more positive answer to the question. Okay, so again, thank you very much everyone. It seems we got to the end of the questions now. Take care, and if any of you are joining this webinar from North America or celebrating Thanksgiving, I wish you the very best. Have a great day. Thank you, and goodbye.